Rose 275 asks, out of curiosity, what's the impact of financing when having a child? That's a really good question, because currently I have a deal where a client has a child and they have an upcoming newborn, and I'm going to include that into the borrowing capacity. So as you can see here, it's 2 adults and 1 child at the moment. Their combined income is about $140,000. And I'm not going to name any funders or banks over here, but the bank has spit out $4,090 as their living expenses. Now you might say this is pretty high, but that's the standard average that the bank's calculator has spit out, and we have to use that as a minimum living expenses. But currently the deal services, but it's pretty tight. But let's see what happens when you add 1 more dependent to make it 2 dependents. As you can see right now, it fails servicing. Again, not naming any funders or banks because they don't like it when we show the calculator to the consumer public. But generally for most calculators that banks use, the color red means the deal doesn't service. Reason being is when you add an extra dependent, your living expenses go up. And because of that extra child, the bank is using a minimum benchmark standard of $4,490. Now, if you throw that into the mix, the deal doesn't service with that high living expenses. You might right now say, well, what do I do there? Here's some tips. Biggest tip is do not underdeclare. I've seen a lot of cases where clients go to brokers and they go, can you not declare one of my kids? And the answer is no, because they look at your Medicare card and it would have your kid there. But then you might say, well, my newborn isn't born yet, it shouldn't be on my Medicare card. Look, you can totally get away with that, but think about it. You're holding a loan for 30 years, your wife is probably going to be on maternity leave, your expenses will probably go up. Do you want to really tell that white lie just to get that loan across the line? A safer bet is to maybe you can reduce your credit card limits. Some people have like $30,000 to $50,000 of credit cards. Maybe reduce it down to $10,000 or $15,000. Another thing is maybe you can increase your deposit size. Or as a general tip, buy what you can borrow. The reason the bank sets benchmarks to limit borrowing is because people generally default when they're borrowing over the capacity. Maybe revise the property that you want to buy. Rather aiming for a $1.2 million property, maybe aim for a $1 million property. And if that means that you don't get to live in your dream house, well, maybe wait a little, save a little, and come back into the market. Hope that helps, Rolls 275, and thank you for the question.